clear that opinions expressed by our guests or callers in do not represent the official or editorial position of SOBI 101.9 FM, but their own personal view. And to our listeners back home, whether you are online or terrestrial, you can also make your contributions via 080-518-99241 and 091-2422-1019. We also implore you to be civil in your reference to any member of the public or group of persons, especially people who are politically exposed when making your contributions, as we shall not tolerate the use of unquote language against any member of the public, because we can disagree without being disagreeable. And to our listeners back home, whether you are online or terrestrial, you can join this discussion. All you need to do is to get on our social media platforms. Our X and Instagram is SOBI101_9FM, while Facebook is SOBI101.9 FM, while our TikTok is official SOBI101. And this morning, I am joined in the building by no other person than a lawmaker, somebody who had never shied away from stating her own claim as somebody who is there by merit, and she is the spokesperson for the House, talking about Chairperson House Committee on Information, Tourism and Sports, and the person representing the Owode Onire constituency, Honorable Rukayat Motorayo Shitu. Good morning, Honorable.
Thank you very much.
Permit me to call you MRS. Because that's
RMS.
Okay, RMS, I beg your pardon.
Rukayat Motorayo Shitu.
Yes.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, everybody. And thank you for having us on the show this morning. All
right, thank you very much. As I've said in my intro, the Elite Network for Sustainable Development said that they have presented a position on the new Kwara State procurement law, particularly section 31 and section, I think, 62 or so, that says that the threshold for open or competitive bidding should be increased from 50 million to 100 million naira. And the reason being that he believes that majority of the contracts being executed by the government is below that threshold, meaning that if it is like sinking of borehole and the rest of them, that if it is jacked up, that means almost 1.5 of government contracts on a yearly basis will be subjected to something that is not open bidding. So what exactly are your considerations at the House of Assembly for passing this law?
Thank you very much for the question. Contrary to that opinion of Bennett Suit, firstly, the principal law for this Kwara State Procurement Act was first passed in 2018, and a review to amend it came in 2026. And you made mention that the section 31, can I read what the section 31 of the law is saying?
Please do, for the sake of my listeners.
Okay. In the principal law, which is the 2018, we have it there as the provision of this law on open competitive bidding shall apply to procurement of goods and services with monetary value of 50 million naira. And the amendment, which says, the amendment of 2026 says that the provision of this law on open competitive bidding shall apply to procurement of goods and services with monetary value of 100 million naira. Why this? Is because if we look at the situation of the country now, the recent situation, this comes up because of the economic reality of today and the exchange volatility between naira and dollar. And then meanwhile, if you even the federal government, most of the argument of the argument is that any project that is below 50 million naira will not go through open competitive bidding again, but now to 100 million. So any contract below 100 million will now go through open competitive bidding. The argument is that, look at, for example, in Kwara State now, in a state whereby salaries have been reviewed about 2 or 3 times, This is to tell you that the economic reality of the state.
Reviewed upward.
Yes, review upward. About 2 to 3 times in the state now. So the economic reality in the country is not allowing that 50 million naira anymore. Rather that it needs to be jacked up so that even the PPA even argue, the procurement agency even argue that they did not even have any job to do, because most contracts now, it is now increased, like it is now above the 50 million naira the 50 million naira value of 2018. So all of the argument, it needed to be jacked up. That so if it is jacked up, so they will have job to do, because, and again, if the federal government even has also increased, because the federal government has increased there from 100 million naira to 250, between 250 million to 500 million naira. So it's not only Kwara State that has jacked this up. Some other states has jacked it up to 200 million, 300 million. So in Kwara, we are jacking it up to 100 million, basically because of the economic reality of the day.
All right, thank you very much. You are listening to Honorable Rukayat Mutuayo Shitu. He says that it is a reflection of the economic situation in the country that informed their, the decision to pass that law. We have to go on this show. Before we come back, the show continues. Please stay tuned. Don't go away. Bọ́lú mi lè lò lọ́lẹ̀ wọ́n rò pé eléyìí ò sí ẹ̀ dáadáa.
Kò sí èsì bí àbí ìsìlẹ̀.
Ká àpọ̀ nígbò kàn ló ṣiṣẹ́.
Section kí lẹ fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ next?
Upfront 30% upfront.
30%.
Upfront.
Okay.
Yes, welcome back from that short break, and I'm still with my guest, Honorable Rukayat Mutuayo Shitu, and talking about the newly passed Kwara State procurement law. And she has just explained that Section 31, the decision to jack it up from 50 million naira threshold to 100 million naira, is to reflect the reality of socio-economic situation in the country, considering the fact that salaries have been reviewed upward in the last few years, twice. And let's go to the next one. The proposal, I think Section 58, that 30% payments, upfront payments, that it will now be subject to a written application from a contractor to, demand for that before a consideration is also given.
I think you are mixing it with the Section 58. Though they are somehow.
Okay, no.
That's
Sorry.
Section 62.
Section 62, yes.
Yeah,
Section 62.
Yes.
We are coming to Section 58. So let's talk about the 30% upfront.
Okay.
Section 62.
In the Section 62, when the Kwara State House of Assembly had the public hearing, about 27 stakeholders were invited, and part of the invited stakeholders were the Society of Nigeria Engineers and Association of Indigenous Contractors. Those are part of the stakeholders that were invited to as a concerned people regarding this act.
Critical stakeholders.
Is a critical stakeholder. Thank you very much. And let me tell you for fact, all of them supported this bill. In fact, they actually commended this because they have been expecting something like this before now. That this is the right time, even it is a bit late, but it's still the right time that the Kwara State House of Assembly need to act on it. The Section 62 reads, it says advance payment of 30% may be paid to supplier or contractor, provided that advance payment above 30% may be paid where supplier or contractor submit a written request justifying the need for such payment. Advance payment of 30% shall be guided by regulation. That's the principal law that I'm reading. Advance payment of 30% shall be guided by regulation prescribed by the agency with the approval of the governor. Now to the amendment. It says that advance payment of 30% may be paid to supplier or contractor, provided that advance payment above 30% may be paid where the supplier or contractor submits a written request justifying the need for such payments subject to the governor's approval. Advance payment of 30% may be paid subject to the governor's approval. So the explanation is that this will assist the contractor to get advance payment to execute project instead of approaching commercial institution for loan or financial to finance their project, thereby faking higher percentage of the profit. What this says in particular is that this allow that if the contractor provide a justifiable reasons to increase, it is now in their capacity to write to the governor for an approval of increments of the money.
Okay, they could apply for an upward review of that percentage.
Yes, they can apply for. Thank you very much. They can apply. That's what the section 62 is saying. They can actually apply instead of approaching institution, but that's by the end of the day, the institution might charge them with so many interests, which might likely affect their own plan. So in this regard, they can actually come back if there's a justifiable reason. They can actually come back and write the executive governor that this money will not be enough, so we need an increment with a justifiable reasons.
All right, thank you very much. On that, let me ask you this question. There was a time here under President Muhammadu Buhari when Babatunde Raji Fashola, the former governor of Lagos State, was the Minister for Works. He said that 35% upfront payment for contract, according to the Bureau for Public Procurement, that is not even enough.
Yeah. That
if you have something to do and you have a timeline to meet, you need to even make it like 60-70%.
Yeah.
So in the light of that, don't you think this one should be made unambiguous as to stating that we will pay upfront for every contract, regardless of whether the contractor requests for it? Because number one, there are timelines for government to meet also whenever they embark on projects.
Yes, that's the upfront that it is saying now. There is now in the new review, in the new amended law, there is now an avenue that you should request. There is now a request for an upfront payment of 30%. And if that 30% is not enough, they can write again to the governor for a review, upward review of that money, that this will not be enough. We need, if there are justifiable reasons, it's needed to be increased to a certain percentage again.
All right, thank you very much. In case you are just tuning in, it is still SOBI 101 Padana FM. The program is Perspectives on SOBI 101, and my guest this morning is Honorable RMS, as she is fondly called, and she is the House chairperson on Committee on Sports, Tourism, and Information. And this morning we are talking about the procurement law. And the next position paper for NS2 is the next position. That's they submitted 3 positions. That there is what we call restricted tender. That any project that requires special technicalities that are not, that are in short supply. For example, the technical competence to carry out certain jobs are not so common. So that restricted bidding. Before, the power to do that reside with the board, but the governor requests for it, that power to be transferred to him and to his office, rather, I beg your pardon. But according to NS2, they said that this could be subject to abuse, particularly when it involves contracts to be awarded to cronies, people who are very close to such a person and political associates. How do you react to that?
You see, what's led to these amendments is the current reality of the nation, whereby the project that you are doing as at maybe 3 years ago or 4 years ago, a project that you are doing with just few millions, now amounted to a large millions. And at this time, you see, in a justifiable reason for this, that who is going to approve the money? I'm asking you. Who is going to approve the fund?
Of course, it should be the government.
So, for even the one of the people that supported the Association of Society of Nigerian Engineers, they were very, very okay with this, because this will not delay any work.
But sorry, we have to go on this short break. When we come back, the show continues. Please stay tuned, don't go away. Wọ́n lẹ́rù lọ́dọ̀ àwọn Korea. Ó yà kó ti wà ń ta. Wà ló bá mi gbà mo fẹ́ pè é sìn. Ó dà sí speed up. Nọ́mbà yẹn ti ń pè mí láti ẹ̀kọ́. Oh my goodness. Oh God.
Sẹ́ni yẹn wà lẹ́nu géètì báyìí.
Oye bóyá máa wà lẹ́nu géètì lọ́bẹ̀ jọ ní ẹnu géètì báyìí ló máa sábà lọ. Bóyá máa ti di pé kó tó débẹ̀. right, and it is still Sobi 101.9 FM. And may I ask you, which other critical aspect of that amendment would you like to bring to the attention of the people of Kwara State so that there will be no kind of misinformation?
Okay, the principal law was first in 2018, and the amendment is in 2026, and it is only 4 parts that was amended. So while we have talked about 3 parts of the amendment, but the one that we have not talked about is the section 31 of the section 31 plus 5 of the, it says that in the principal law, it says that the board shall make rules applicable to procurement of goods and services with monetary value below 50 million naira. Now the amendment says, section 31 of 5, the board shall make rules applicable to procurement of goods and services with monetary value below 100 million naira. This will actually give window of opportunity for more bidder to bid for contract. That's the explanation for this clause.
That clause.
Yes.
All right. There is in the existing law, that's the one that was passed in 2018. I know there is a provision there that caters for indigenous contractor, that any bid below 25 million naira should be limited to indigenous contractors. And you have reviewed upward other sections due to economic reality. What about that particular section? Don't you think
it's untouched?
Yeah, it's untouched. Don't you think it should have been touched too?
That would be if a concern, the concerned stakeholders, the critical stakeholders that are involved in this, if they bring up such things, if they call the attention of the Honorable House or the Executive Governor, if they call the attention of us to it, so from there the House or the House can take a step regarding that.
All right, and the numbers to call are 080-5189-9241 or 091-2422-1019. You mention your name, your location, and you go straight to the point. Yes, I will have a caller. Hello, good morning. Your name and your location, please. Malam from OK for more. Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much, Malam from OK for more. Any reaction to what she has just said?
Yes, you know, each honorable members, we belong to different committees, and we are heading different committees, and in that respective committees, every honorable member is subjected to the feed of concerns under such committee. As for me, I'm the chairperson House Committee on Youth Sports Information and Tourism. However, I'm also members of other subcommittees, and in that subcommittees and even in my committees, we have gone out for an oversight on some of projects or infrastructures under our respective committees. So every other honorables are also doing this in their respective committees.
All right, we have another caller. Hello. Oh, we lost that call. Please do try to call us back if you can. The numbers are 080-5189-9241 and 091-2422-1019. Now let me come to, I want to ask you a very a private question and a private and public question all rolled into one. It has to do with your own personal project in the house. Before you became a honorable member of the house, we've always known you to be a very vibrant youth and who are involved in many acts of many facets of community development. But upon your being sworn in, you have embarked on the task of coming up with a comprehensive legal framework for the domestication of the electricity market regulation. And first and foremost, may we know what informs your decision to go into, or have you experienced something very nasty in the hands of Disco that galvanized you into going into that?
Is basically there are concerns before. So when we see opportunity, we decided to tap into it. That will bring me back to when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2023 signed the new Electricity Act in Nigeria. This is what birthed the Kwara State Electricity Power Sector Bill 2025. For me, I am from an Nigerian community, a rural place, Omokonimi. That's
like the rest of us.
So definitely. So what better this is accessibility to electricity in those rural, very deep places. So if this kind of law is in place, whereby in Kwara we can generate, we can distribute, we can transmit, there will be more accessibility to energy in the state. So this is what birthed the framework.
All right. What you're saying in essence is that it was informed by your experience growing up as a rural dweller. You understand the importance of having access to electricity in the rural area, as it will kind of connect them to the entire world via many electromechanical devices.
Yeah.
And that is quite impressive, meaning that you are bringing your experience into bringing it to bear on your legislative activities. All right, let me ask you, how much of a support did you receive from your colleagues in pushing through that bill?
See, in fact, the support is very, very overwhelming because almost all of us share similar perspective of this bill. Because look at Central in Ilorin, we have the local places. In Ilorin South, we have the local places. We have they call it Igboro and Agbegbe. We have those places even within Central. Now go to the Kwara South, now go to the Kwara North. So we are all the same when it comes to something like this. So every honorable member is very keen and very supportive of this bill.
All right, we have a caller. Oh, we lost that call. Please do try to call us back if you can. 080-5189-9241 and 091-2422-1019. In trying to come up with this, how much of our stakeholders did you engage? Like people, operators in that power sector, and also the community?
We've had before that, there are some states in Nigeria that immediately have had the president assented to that bill as
they've set up their own state.
The party, which is Ogun State, and some
Ekiti, Enugu, Kogi,
so
Lagos.
We did some assessments, some engagements with how did they come up with what they have put in place in their respective state. So it was guided. In fact, we went for some conferences regarding electricity sector in the state. We went to several seminars just to put this together.
Please go ahead. I thought we had a call, but it has dropped.
We went for several seminars. We had Zoom meetings with various the concerned stakeholders, people that are involved in this. So many things were guided before putting up this bill. Not something where we just sit in the comfort of our house to put together. We had to go out of the state. We had so many night calling, Zoom meeting here and there just to put up this. So it was guided with a very informed decisions.
All right, there are three A factors guiding, affecting the electricity economy. Talking about availability, accessibility, and affordability. In drawing up this bill, did you factor this in? Because, for example, a minister came on board and introduced something called band A, band B. Some of us are unbanded anyway, because we don't even, like in my area now, we do not have light for, we've not had lights for close to 7 days now. So I don't know what kind of band I can, boldly say we are. But then, looking at these factors, availability, accessibility, and affordability, how have you been able to marry these three together and ensure that the purpose of your coming up with this lofty idea is not defeated as far as your people are concerned?
See, we are trying as much as possible to make this accessible, to make this affordable. And what's the third pointer?
Availability, accessibility, and affordability.
Available.
If it is available, it must be accessible, and then affordable.
Affordable. So meanwhile, while doing this, when we had our public hearing, it was last year that we had the public hearing, and we invite every concerned stakeholders, which everybody lay their sincere reports that this is sincere report that we our sincere submission. In fact, we invited community stakeholders from even the core local places. Someone came to represent my own local government as a local government, and some other people came to represent some other local government too. And the reason they welcomed the bill, and part of what they touched is affordability, accessible, and availability. But we just laid the reports, and the final what did I want to put it? We've laid the report.
Yeah.
So there's still some other step. So we are trying to resolve all of those things.
But I consider the fact that at the end of the day, once this bill is passed, it will be pushed on to the executive for implementation.
Yeah.
How much are you on the same page with the executive arm of government? Are you carrying the executive arm of government along with this?
Definitely. We can't do it alone, and it is not in any way that the assembly needs to work alone. We work hand in hand with the executive governor of the state. On this note, the executive governor of the state, Malam Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, is even very, very keen of this bill, because he wants it to come to a reality in the state, because this is something that he also has been projecting for the state. This is something that he also has been projecting for the state, to have such acts in place that will enable people to have access to energy in the state. So it is something that is very passionate about, and he has been very, very supportive of the bill.
All right, thank you very much. The governor has been very supportive of the bill, and considering the fact that a lot of people have one complaint or the other against the distributors. Now we've seen it play out in states like Enugu, Ekiti, and Kogi, where operators are saying, look, you can't, because the state electricity regulatory commission that will be set up eventually is to determine the price, the rate at which electricity will be sold. And in those states where it is operational at the moment, we've seen a kind of pushback from those operators. Yes, are you engaging the major operator here now, which is about electricity distribution?
They were part of the public hearing when we had, and they made their submission. So we are engaging everybody that is very, very important, that needed to be put in this, so for us not to have problem at the end of the day. So everybody is on board on this bill.
All right, being somebody who
I know it will be of benefit of every Kwaran, and every Kwaran will be ready to support this kind of bill, that if it comes to limelight, it will be of benefit to everybody, whether you are in town, whether you are in villages. So it's a benefit. It's something very, very important to us in Kwara.
All right, considering how deeply involved you are in this, can you let us into, or can you give us a hint as to how soon we expect it to take off, talking about Kwara State Electricity Regulatory Commission?
Possibly in a sooner time. Inshallah, it is coming to a reality.
All right, the numbers to call are 080-5189-9241 and 091-2422-1019. Our time is fast spent. I will need to go in about a couple of minutes. On our final analysis, any message for the public and also NS2 that stood in opposition with your position, and perhaps maybe they were not informed of your reason for going along with the bill and jettisoning their position. Any message to them and
including NSUD, including me, including you, we are all members of the general public. And so my message to the members of the general public is that this is the accurate report of what transpired in that amendment and what transpired in the public hearing before the bill was passed.
All right, this was the reason for passing it, as explained by Honorable Rukayat Motorayo Shitu, the chairperson, House Committee on Youth, Sport, Tourism and Information. She's been with us on the program for the past 40 minutes or thereabout. It's been wonderful having you around.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, that's why we'll be drawing a curtain on the show this morning. My sincere appreciation goes to all our listeners, those who listen terrestrially and those who did digitally. We appreciate you. My name is Adiba Abubakar. Do not forget that Kwara State is christening the state of harmony, and that is not mere sloganiani, and that anybody who breaches public peace in any part of the state shall have the full weight of the law to contend with, and also be reminded that the cost of operating one and united Nigeria is far less than that of a divided country. Therefore, let us all do everything within our individual capacities to maintain one and united Nigeria. Please do tell us your trouble and remain abiding. Until you come your way again, same time, same station next week. Do have a wonderful day.